Alright, so no introduction. I was still following me on all my links and Linktree. Anyways, I'm a little bit more tired today because it's like literally almost 1 in the morning by the time I'm doing this video, but you guys won't see it till the afternoon. So there's that. Anyways, you'll still hear some music in the background. It's a little bit of nostalgia bias for me, but all the first Fantasy Star Online, like stuff from Square Enix back in the day, when they were still called Square, stuff like that. Before it's called Trials of Mana, Secret of Mana, Parasite Eve. My personal opinion, best top 3. Top mother effing 3. Absolutely mother fudging love it. Freaking hell out of all those tracks. I actually listened to a bunch before I even started doing this video. But this is unexpected, but I did want to talk about this Batman one too. The Batwoman one. Says this Square Enix. You already know how I am with Final Fantasy stuff, but the Valkyrie one, like I said a couple months ago, still extremely interesting. It might change my mind on the whole Final Fantasy franchise as a whole. Who knows? And it says the order. So the publisher's units for decreased by 67%. Visit Final Fantasy 14 monthly subscriber. I'm still talking about the Batwoman news. That won't be till way later on, so you can skip to the duration point where I start talking about that. And let's go. Like I said, no intro today. Probably no outro either. So it says Final Fantasy Maker Square Enix. I'm going to skip around a little bit in this article. Released with physical financial earnings in the last 3 months ending June 30th of 2022. I forget, I think those yans or yens. 553 million profit, digital enterprises, oh my god, 12 billion for them is probably like a drop in the bucket for them. 56 billion or 53 billion? I don't know what that translates to in the other one. It's been a while since I've been from the industry.biz. Really good resource in my personal, bias opinion. The Square Enix Digital Enterprises division is broken into HD gaming, MMO, and the MMO part and the mobile one I'm skipping. That's what Square Enix really wants to be. They want to pretty much be like Konami now. Just make everything digital, and gacha games and a lot of microtransaction bullshit, crappy, shitty NFT shit. Nah, that's not it, fam. That ain't it, my fams. Well, let's move on. HD games subsequent generated 12 billion, 89 million. Okay, that's what that translates to. 53 billion, so that's got to be about 300, 400 billion US dollars. Because over here, their net profits looks real bad. Even though I'm not an analyst, I'm not an accountant, I'm not no financial strategy marketing strategy, so complete dumbass when it comes to that. So yeah, 553 million, 136 million. That might hurt them a little bit. So it says when compared to the same period last year, the firm said it was declined to attribute the lack of the games releasing for the first quarter. Last year, Square Enix launched the RPG's Outriders Mirror Replicant during the first quarter. Square Enix, biggest HD release games of the period, Outriders World Slayer expansion, which launched the last day of the quarter. And I'm skipping all the mobile stuff, that one doesn't fascinate me at all. I'll read maybe half of this stuff here from MMOs. Square Enix has noted that MMO Final Fantasy 18 and 19 continued as an increase of monthly subscribers. Additionally, publishers' earnings revealed that it sold a total of 4.28 million copies. Downloaded packages from the Q1 figure represents a lot looking ahead. The firm said that it will provide a consolidation forecast later, assumes it will be from reasonably calculated a delay, which it attributed it to the impact of selling Eidos Crystal Dynamics in Square Enix Montreal. I remember hearing it way early this year. Oof. So many Square Enix and Ubisoft fans were livid. They must have blew a freaking gasket when they heard that news, unfortunately. Excuse me. Final Fantasy Mark is reported to considering whether or not to sell stakes. Holy owners of studios. So anyways, this comes from Jeffrey Rasura. I forgot to say his name. Holy forgot. Got a credit's due for that dude. He's the one that came up with this. Overall thoughts, views, and opinions. Ooh. I just see as if they're just going to be pure mobile cell phone games and shit, and it's not for me. It's for Gen Z. And that's not me trying to put a drop in the bucket with all these people and they're all the crabs in the bucket and all these other fools, But Oh man, the publishing thing for this quarter is going to be really, really fucking nice. Some of those Japanese business dudes must be sweating in their freaking business suit and ties, must be sweating their freaking nuts really, really bad. And they're probably scared as hell someone's going to go out of business. They're going to have to lay some people off. I can't even imagine. So anyways, let's get to a little bit of Final Fantasy news. Square Enix, running lower than 14 quarter title. This is from Game News 24/7. It says, still a success. Got a credit card is due from Manson and Mason, whatever you say his name. This one's way, way extra short. I'm just going to breeze through this motherfucker for fast. Square Enix announced the rest of this physical quarter ended in June of 2022. Of course it did. With these data, we can see the revenue of its own lows, but Final Fantasy XIV continues. According to Square Enix, sales is same stuff as before. 2014. For example, this HD isn't exactly the same level as last year. The games have been released. In terms of the mobile and browsing games, explain that Echoes of Mana are a lot of fun, but reportedly have low performances. Final Fantasy XIV was the company's biggest hit quarter. It will be the first time it has ever been made. Final Fantasy XIV is here, however, Square Enix plans on moving into a lot of the games until the end of the year for the HD edition. Of course, you guys gotta make a deluxe edition, HD edition. That's some my personal opinion, is some predatory crap there, man. Especially when they add all that shit. And shout out to my boy Hamsterbomb. You know, he made a video on this before when he reacted to the Pokemon presentation thing for Scarlet and Violet again for a few days ago. That's a fucked up predatory thing, man. Honestly. The other credits are due, Hamsterbomb, aka Alex Wheatley, I think that's what his real name. Haley Whaley. Haley. He was Whaley. Healy. He even talked about it. That's really messed up, especially with those gacha games, a lot of the Japanese games that are out there, and a shitload of stuff. This is why I never play shit like Genshin Impact and Honkai Impact, because any of the stuff that's owned by Tencent and fucking Epic Games, it could, honestly eat a fucking bag of dicks. That's disgusting as hell, honestly. It's trash. And they freaking, very, very predatory stuff. A lot of, like, Chinese stuff, man. Investors just, they're fucking leeches. Like I said, it's a toxic leech of the freaking game industry. It's Tencent, Epic Games, and probably Ubisoft at this point. Who knows? Says, among other things, some of the other recent games like Tactics.Org Reborn have announced a trailer and release date. Square Enix was enlisted and subscribed them to continue playing with the various initiatives. Yes, so all of our thoughts, views, and opinions. Greedy investors, greedy like microtransaction fools and NFTs and cryptocurrency fools. They have cryptocurrency. I wouldn't be surprised. Square Enix is seeing he's at the bottom of the fucking barrel with that shit. It's absolutely scum of the earth trashiness. Why they had to put any of that stuff in. I wouldn't be surprised at this point. I mean, I lost respect a shitload of years ago, back when I was like 12, 13 years old for Square Enix, so it doesn't matter to me anymore. So let's get into some real quick Batman news. If any of you guys want to talk about it, I'm trying not to get super overly political at the top. I hope to God I don't. It says on why Warner Brothers cutting off losses and strategic pivot. This is from the Raps from Brian Wheatley. So it says, I'm just gonna jump down and skip you a few of those things here. Oh, there was more to this shit. What the heck? I don't know why it ended up being like that. This company insider told the Rap Studios is not moving the movie at all. They'll be benefiting the tax and loss for the Batgirl and whatever the movie originally planned for HBO Studios. Screwed in the holiday hunt, which these circumstances are rare. No, that sucks. A rare and uncommon for the company's general loss. Alright, so this was from Umberto Gonzalez. So let's continue forward. The decision is not released. The Batgirl reflects our relationship strategy. You guys can read the other half of the article I didn't read. Shift as it relates to the DC Universe and HBO Max. Leslie Grace is an incredible talent and actor, and this decision is not reflective of her performance. I'm incredibly grateful for the filmmakers of Batgirl and Scoob, Holiday Hunt, as a respective cast. We hope to have collaboration with everyone again in the future. According to Warner Brothers Picture spokesperson, of course. Man, they better be getting a shit little fucking backlash on that thing, honestly. But let's continue forward again, like I always say. Made under previous games, regime, Batgirl was initially designed to be HBO Max release, and then these considerable theoretical distribution due to the random scandal of Convid. Issues shut down, so the budget ballooned to $90 million. The movie stars in the heights of Leslie Grace is... Oh, man. I ain't gotta see that shit, man. There was a lot of crazy mass wokeism and whatnot. You get into that, like I said, That sucks. Like that term actually that we in cancel culture started getting way super political. Depends on who asks. But let's move on. The leaders of the studio determined. Ultimately, in spite of the reshoots and increasing budgets, the movies did not work. According to the insiders, okay, so I'm thinking of inside editions, other insiders, but who are they? That's the thing. So new orders, management, I see. Oh, I've heard of this dude a few times before. Data Zaslab and committed to making DC titles and theatrical event films, and quote-unquote Batgirl isn't it. That insiders added that studio brass loves film directors and stars and are actively planning to work with them soon. Warner Brothers, excuse me, also says Discovery is working to elevate DC films to be on the big screen. Batgirl has not been produced as theatrical film. I remember that one. Bad Boys for Life. Bad Boys for Life filmmaker Adil Arabi and Billion Fahala. I'm probably butchered that second name worse. Batgirl film also starred Michael Keaton as Cape Crusader Batwing. I remember last week, Monday, Tuesday, motherfuckers on Marvel DC fanboys and comics and all that, and just the ones that play video games all the time with it. They were hyped as hell that Michael Keaton was coming back. Somebody grew up in the early 90s. Oh my god, I used to love watching those old school Batman films. He was the shit for me personally. It was badass in the Spider-Man movie when he played the Falcon. And even the Birdman when it came out way back earlier last decade, 2012, 2013-ish. So it goes on to say, directing the first two films of the episode studios for Miss Marvel. Also relieved now. Additionally, according to the Halloween Reporter, yeah, okay. I was going to say Hollywood Reporter. Warner Brothers has decided to shelve animated feature Scoob and Haunted Hollowers began $40 million budget range. I'm just going to skip down here. Filming initially took place in Glasgow, Scotland from November 2021 to March 2022 and was in post-production. A studio spokesperson, there we go, and the studio had no comment. Representative for Grace have no immediate comment, period. The overall thoughts and opinions, I really hope they don't go mass political on this shit, man. Isn't this the one supposed to do the live action next year for Snow White? The only two things that I'm honestly looking forward to, I hope to God there's no crazy-ass, wild, massively, like, cancel culture, vulture sort of bullshit news. Like, when they do Shazam, even though I'm not a big fan of Dwayne The Rock Johnson, I'll still watch him in, the one that's supposed to be coming out, Black Adam and Shazam. It's probably the only two DC movies I'm watching this year. I completely skipped off on Thor Love and Thunder for my own personal fucking reasons for that. Oh my god, yeah, of course it's going to be a big, giant, super Hollywood budget hit, but my god, man. And they weren't super massive woke from what I heard, but it was too funky, too much extra embarrassing, cringy sort of like moments in that movie from what I heard. I'm just going to wait that on some Blu-ray 4K instead, personally for me. I'm real hyped for Shazam too. If any of you guys didn't watch my video last week or the week before when I did a reaction review segment, I hope I remember to leave the description box down below, and that's it. That's the only shit I'm looking to. And Marvel's, I know they got Black Panther 2. That's coming out. And then all the other shit I'm not curious for. And the only thing I'm really mega overhyped for next year is John Wick 4. That was supposed to be coming out soon. And next year, March 2023. That, and that's probably one more the movie that's really super mega overhyped for. That's not till 2024 though. Sonic the Hedgehog live action 2023. Just 2024 probably. That's it. Take it easy. Links to the box down below. Take it easy. But once again, peace out. Once again, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, boys, we're talking Monday. I'll see you next week. Guys, good day, good night, wherever you each other. Because more of your content, giving issues and news. What's in a lot of comic news. Don't really do drama news anymore, so don't expect that anymore. Take it easy. Peace out. Sqaure. Ladies and gentlemen, see you in just take it easy. Be safe and out. Don't take the poison, the jab, and the goose. And yeah, the creepy, scary ass nanobites. And don't take the hydrogels and JABS and the Scammerdemic and you know what, the pokies and the evil hyper potions. I'm out. Later. I'm taking none of the apparatus shit either. Later.